Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Ludacris. And specifically, we're going to be talking about his longtime friend and manager, Chaka Zulu. Now, Chaka Zulu got with Ludacris and they put DTP records together, man, disturbing the peace, man. And they had a great run on Def Jam. They had Def Jam South. They were doing big things, man, in the music game. But, time changes. Artists get older. Ludacris moved over to more doing movies and things like that, like Fast and Furious, but they retain their business relationship and have many business ventures together, man. But what's crazy is about 3 months ago, Chaka Zulu got into a situation where he got shot and somebody else got shot and lost their life, man. I think it was a total of 3 people that were shot. But the wild part about it and the spin today is Chaka Zulu was arrested for that shooting, man. He was actually arrested for murder, and it looks like he was booked into Fulton County Jail. Now, before we get to the specifics of exactly what went down and the charges that he's looking at, because it's a lot, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about Chaka Zulu, man. Now, as I mentioned, man, Chaka Zulu is an exec in the music game. So when this shooting originally happened, it was a surprise to many. And there was a news story that covered the action as soon as it went down. So let's actually look at a clip of what went down the night of that shooting.
Police cleared out after being here for about 6 hours on scene, trying to piece together exactly what happened. And this is what they've been able to figure out so far. They tell us this one happened, like so many of them do, with an argument that escalated. It happened here in this parking lot behind this strip center.
Now, as you heard in that news story, there was an argument that escalated. And, this usually in those cases is between 2 people who either don't know each other or haven't seen each other in a while or something like that. Usually if it's some cats who really are into it with each other, it ain't no argument. They just immediately get to the shooting. So this might have been over anything, a parking spot, something like that, something minor that escalated into people, shooting at each other. So you got to watch out when you out here, man. You don't know what people be on, what type of timing they be on, if they got that thing on them or not. You just really got to watch out, man. So let's look at a little bit more of that news clip before I go through this tweet that actually broke the news about what happened today.
Let me give you an idea of where we are. We're right off of Peachtree Road, in between Peachtree Battle and Benihana's. This is behind a little strip center. You have to drive down and kind of into an alley almost, where there is a parking lot below and behind the shops, and that's where this happened. Police say it was a triple shooting. 1 person was killed. 2 others are now in the hospital receiving treatment.
Now, hopefully y'all heard that. It was a triple shoot that took place, and 2 other people were wounded, and 1 person was killed in the shooting. Now, immediately after this took place, I don't think Chaka Zulu got arrested. I believe he ran with the story, or the story was out there. I know TMZ did a story, and basically the headline of their story, it said this. Now, this is back when the shooting happened. It said, Ludacris' manager, Chaka Zulu, allegedly fired back in self-defense during deadly ATL shooting. Now, Chaka Zulu really just doesn't look like the kind of guy who would, be in the streets into it with people. But that strip mall looks like it's got only so many parking spots or whatnot, and maybe there was some sort of complication there. Now, in this story from TMZ, it says this. It says, Ludacris' manager, Chaka Zulu, was scared for his life and actually fired back, allegedly in self-defense during the Atlanta shooting that left the music honcho in critical condition. Remember, he was actually shot as well in this situation back in June. Now, it also goes on to say, we've spoken with multiple sources who have viewed surveillance footage recorded Sunday outside of the APT4B restaurant. We're told Chaka, his assistant, and another friend were leaving an event, walking through the parking lot when Chaka was approached by another man. Our sources say in the video, Chaka and the other man started exchanging words, but things escalated, and the conversation becomes visually more intense. All while the other man allegedly keeps his hand on and around his waistband. So stop right there. You basically have Chaka Zulu and his homeboys leaving an event at a nice restaurant, right? And as they're leaving, some guy approaches them in the parking garage, and he's got his hand on his waistband and he's talking to him. So the threat is almost already there. It's already at a point where if you feel uncomfortable and you feel like he's gonna pull the gun out, you already want to either, react or get out of there. You see what I'm saying? Now, it also says that we're told at one point a female bystander pushed the other man away from Chaka, but he didn't back down. And then things really got intense when Chaka approaches the man again, who seemingly bumps Chaka with his chest, and Chaka grabs the man by the collar. So it looks like, man, almost like a schoolyard style of, yo, we getting into it. You know what I'm saying? They bump chests. You know what I'm saying? Like, two people talking mess to each other, bump chests. Then Chaka Zulu allegedly grabs the guy by his collar. Now, that might have set it off right there, grabbing another grown man by his collar. Now, from there, our sources say a group of 3 or 4 other men who've been standing in the parking lot with the man confronting Chaka get involved, rushing in and knocking Chaka to the ground with a punch, followed by kicks and stomps. So they're saying he was on the ground getting stomped out. Chaka Zulu, man, this is wild. Now, it also says we're told one guy in the group makes his way between 2 vehicles, produces a gun, and fires at least 2 shots. Our sources say Chaka, who was also armed, can then be seen getting back on his feet and firing at least 1 shot in return. That's wild. If he fired 1 shot and shot the shooter, the person who was trying to shoot him, he's got a good aim. I mean, he must go to the range or something, man. That's amazing. Now, TMZ obtained the dramatic 911 call from the scene where a man claiming to be a restaurant security was trying to help Chaka Zulu, who had suffered a gunshot wound in the exchange. A source close to Chaka tells us he was shot at least once. The bullet came close to his heart, and he's currently in critical condition. Now, that was back in June, and since then, I believe he was in stable condition and released from the hospital. Now, what's crazy is, after that whole ordeal, and if that story is correct, it sounds like he was in the right, protecting himself, right? Well, he ended up getting arrested regardless, right? So let's look at this news story, or at least this tweet that was put out by the same journalist who broke the YSL story in Atlanta. And it's a guy by the name of Michael Seiden, and he works for the WSB-TV news there. You know what I'm saying? A legit source. And in this tweet, he says this. He says, breaking, Ludacris longtime manager Chaka Zulu arrested on murder charge. The music executive, whose real name is Ahmed Obafemi, is also charged with aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and simple battery, according to the jail records. Now, I myself went to look at the jail records just to see what they say, and all of that is legit, man. As you can see right here, he's charged with murder, so they're saying that he's the one who killed the guy who was originally shooting, according to that report, right? Then aggravated assault, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission or an attempt to commit certain felonies, and simple battery. So, man, he's looking at a lot of charges. Now, it looks like he already bonded out. Like, the original bond amount, I believe, was $100,000 for the murder, $79,000 for the aggravated assault, $20,000 for the possession of a weapon and commission of a felony, and $1,000 for the simple battery. So he bonded out already. But this is crazy, man. It looks like Chaka Zulu's going to have a fight on his hand, along with a lot of other people in the Atlanta rap game. But what do y'all think about this? Does this sound like just, them doing everything according to procedure? Or do you feel like they've had so much time to review that videotape that maybe they see something that wasn't told in that original TMZ story, that Chaka Zulu might have fired first or something like that, man? This is crazy, man. Now, with that, y'all do me a favor. Make sure y'all hit that like button, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content, and we out of here. Peace.